My first ever race was in a pink Ford Pinto, and they called it the Pink Pony. I was driving with my dad in town, and we drove past Beluga Lake, and we see these cars out on the lake. We tear on down. What's going on? What is this? We go down there. There's a sign. It says they're broadcasting on the radio. So we turn it on. Now we're listening. We're watching, and we're just riveted, staring over the dash, just loving it. This is so cool. Coolest thing I've ever seen. And then it says on the radio, we're looking for kid racers. I didn't dare hope. Nobody wants me to drive their car. Come on. I'm just a girl, a young girl. I don't really know anything. My dad says, well, let's just go. So we go in, and now I'm nervous. I'm afraid, but I walk in, and all of a sudden, every car driver is just leeching onto me. Come to my car. No, come to my car. Come try my car. And it was really a confidence boost. It felt very cool that they didn't care. They didn't care that I was young or I didn't know anything or that I was a girl doing what was supposed to be a man's sport. And so I walked in, and they said, hey, can you drive a stick shift? And I said, sorta. And they said, great, and shoved me in a car. It was incredible. I went out there, and I ran the entire race in first gear because I couldn't reach the clutch. So in the weekday, I'm at home, but I'm working. My husband has his own job he must go and do. I do everything that it requires to take care of the kids in the house. Sometimes that's doctor appointments. And it's in the back of my mind during race season what I'm doing and what time we can spare. We have our meetings Friday nights, and that really just starts it. Now you're in race mode. From 6 p.m. on until Sunday evening, race mode. We check on the tires, we check the oil and the filters. And then you got to paint it, you know, because the way it looks is really half the battle. And then Sunday morning, I wake up, I make everybody breakfast, I pack lunches, we get the car ready, and we go down to the lake and just hope. So for the season, we have a few prerequisites before we even bother putting anything on the ice. Before we take our cars out there with all of our tow vehicles, that's thousands and thousands of pounds for each person, for each set, we have to have a minimum of 16 inches of ice where our track is at. And the way that we do that is we usually take a chainsaw down, then we measure how far it is, but by the time we get down there to start racing, most of the time, you stick your blade down there and never hit water. Fine by me. We'll drill a couple holes so it's not just that one area. And that comes with a large responsibility, because once people in the town, just citizens, see that the Homer Racing Association has started to have a presence out on the lake, they assume that the lake is fine. And they'll just go out there. Kids will go out in their mom's Subarus and start driving around. So if it's not suitable, we feel guilty because we gave them the message that it was. We're all patriots. We all have a lot of pride in our country. We all have a lot of pride in our state. And we will stick with that. So it's important to us to pay our homage, to pay respects to our country and our state. So we send out our American flag first, always first, and then our Alaskan flag to go behind them. We all wait, everyone removes their hats, we put our hands over our hearts, and we do our best to watch them do their lap around. We've done our respects. We do it every weekend. It's tradition. Originally, when the association began, they were racing for a payout, so it was money. But at the time, we were also charging spectators a gate fee to watch, and we no longer do that. That got really rough, and people got really upset, and that became a little more banging, clashing, a little less family associated. So they decided, you know, it would be more fun is if we were racing for beer. And that was fun until it started to create a dangerous racing environment, because at that point then we had alcohol in the pits, and that kind of leads itself into some dangerous lanes, and we decided this can't continue. Now you're racing for theoretical things. It's a sense of pride, it's good skills, it's fun, because sometimes you've got a car that is not evenly matched with another, but your racing ability will help you make the difference.
Yep, gotta get out the way. Oh, here she comes. Here comes the mama. And
If it's not family oriented, I don't want to be there. So if it's not family bonding, if you're not together and you're not having a good time, why do it? We have long-standing members that were there in the 50s that are still here. but now it's their children and grandchildren and sometimes great-grandchildren coming down and being part of the association, and that's what's going to help keep us see into the future. If my children decide that they don't want to ice race when their time comes, which is sooner than I'd like, then the association won't last. It'll just be me and my husband until we can't anymore, and then nobody else will take it up, and that's kind of a bummer. We get very lucky in living in Alaska, where there are areas where you can take your kids and have them practice more or less. And that's one of the reasons why I love racing and why I love bringing kids into the association, because they get drive time at a really young age in the safest environment that they can be in. We've got helmets, we've got lots of safety gear, we've got fire extinguishers, they're in an armored car, they're wearing sometimes 5-point harnesses. They're in the safest location they could be for anything to go wrong. I feel like you don't get it until you get it. It seems to me like you're just putting money into something that's not really earning you anything other than a good time. But what else are you going to do on a Sunday afternoon with your whole family? What are we going to do?